Great. Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Bitcoin++. Like I said, this is our first ever edition in Brazil. I'm super excited to be here sharing it with you guys. Just some facts about Bitcoin++. This is our 8th ever event. We started in June 2022. This is our first Bitcoin++ that as much as possible, we're focusing on workshops. So this is also a 4-day event. Typically our events are 3 or 2 days long. So very happy to be here with you guys for a longer event. What we're going to do with the extra time is we're going to spend more time working on projects together. This is also one of, I think, the first Bitcoin++ where we have I think it's our biggest hackathon prize pool. I haven't been keeping track. I should probably. But yeah, so this one is really focused on learning about what projects people are working on, ways to contribute, and sharing what you know with other people so that they can maybe contribute to your project or also find a good place for themselves to contribute to Bitcoin. So really excited about that. Again, first in Brazil. Here's a few things that I'm hoping that we'll get out of this event and this time that we're spending together. Bringing a bunch of people together is often a pretty difficult and expensive endeavor. So thank you for everyone who took the time and energy to come all the way here and made it a priority to spend this week here with everyone. So that's really great. So here's what I'm hoping that you'll get out of all the effort that you made to come to Florianopolis down in Brazil and spend 4 days with us. I'm hoping that people will be able to share what they're working on. I'm hoping that people will learn about what the challenges are in Bitcoin still to overcome and what progress that has been made in Bitcoin maybe over the past few years or months or weeks, depending on people's different projects or what they're trying to accomplish. I'm really hoping that at the end of this week, we'll have built some really cool stuff. So maybe that's something that you submit in the hackathon. Maybe that's a pull request that you're able to make and send to an open source project. My hope is that you're proud of maybe the connections that you build. Yeah, so this is definitely one of my goals for everyone. And then I hope everyone profits because what is Bitcoin? No, just joking. I really hope that we're able to grow the Bitcoin open source community, be that through new projects that get added to the ecosystem, new contributors that are adding to existing projects, or even just more code that gets contributed about how things work and make it easier for other people to find out and understand how Bitcoin works through making it open source. Great. Okay, so I have a little bit of a keynote here. Oh no, are my images all gone? This is terrible. All of my images are gone. That is not much of a keynote. Hang on one sec, guys. I don't know how to exit out of this. Let me try switching really fast to a Wi-Fi. The what? I think we're okay. I'm out of the function. F11, I think, is not gonna... I don't think that's gonna help me. I'm gonna try getting on Wi-Fi. I apologize for this, guys. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Did they pop up? All right, cool. All right, we're back. Very cool. Okay. I have it working now. Great. I'm very excited. Technical difficulties sometimes resolve themselves. So speaking about technical stuff, one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about is so why Bitcoin++? What are we doing here? Why are all of you here in Florianopolis today? Kind of want to talk about something that you'll hear or see, I think, other Bitcoiners talk about is signal versus noise, right? So this is the idea that there's a lot of information out there that people are putting out. What if that is worth paying attention to? And what if that is, something that maybe really resonates with yourself and what you see and get out of Bitcoin versus maybe what other people are excited about and talking about in Bitcoin? So I think lately it's gotten a little noisy. I think there's a lot of excitement about all the money that people and financial engineers are making off of Bitcoin, be that through issuing debt to buy, another kind of form of fiat would be equities to buy more Bitcoin. Maybe that's about, where we should be with the price. I think there's lots of information out there that people are pumping out about what the Bitcoin price is and what it will be. I think there's a lot, especially recently, of noise about what's going on with politics and Bitcoin, particularly as, our politicians change or their interactions with all kinds of Bitcoin-esque projects sort of develop. And so, when you look out across this landscape, I think a lot of us are here because we care about what the signal is. But there's a lot of people also out in the world in general that for them, they kind of see the muddy stuff and they don't see the signal maybe that the people in this room are picking up. So I wanted to kind of maybe hone in on, okay, what is that signal? What is the thing that we as a group here in Florianopolis this week have in common? What is the common signal that maybe we're picking up on that we can then broadcast a little more clearly to people around ourselves, communicating what it is about Bitcoin that we like. So here's some of the things that I think I see as being the signal about Bitcoin that I'm really excited about. And maybe you guys can tell me after this talk or over the course of the week if this is true and represents what you guys also see and think about being important in Bitcoin, or maybe there's something else. So for me, I think it really kind of goes back to what Satoshi Nakamoto was attempting to achieve at the very beginning. This is a man named Dorian Nakamoto, so not Satoshi, but I love using his picture to stand in for that. I just feel like I need a little bit of a thing. So Satoshi wrote down this peer-to-peer electronic cash system paper, right? And in his paper, he really talks about how important it is for people to be able to break this dependency on third parties. So it's really about people being able to take value and exchange it with someone else. So peer-to-peer value exchange from one person directly to another. For me, this is one of the core values of being a Bitcoin open source contributor. What I'm trying to make and preserve is the ability for anyone in the world, not just people that live in a particular country or use a particular currency, though, okay, you do have to use Bitcoin to get it these days. But one of those core values for me is this ability to preserve the freedom of other people. Maybe one of the core values around that freedom that we need is privacy. So, as Bitcoiners, when we're working on protocols, we think a lot about privacy because we need privacy between who's interacting in order to preserve our freedom to interact. Another thing that I think is a common value, and maybe this one is a little more mixed among a technical crowd, but hard money. This idea that there's only so many Satoshis, and that's what we have to deal with on a technical sense. I didn't interview Peter Todd for this one, so maybe we'll talk to him later about whether or not hard money is a core value for him. But, this ability that there's a limited number of Satoshis is something that I think a lot of people really value in the project that we're working on. Another thing that I really value about Bitcoin is that it's a lot of really difficult problems. So as an engineer, I feel like this field of open source Bitcoin is really filled with amazing opportunities to contribute new solutions to problems that perhaps someone else hasn't figured out how to solve yet. As an engineer, I think it's exciting that there's puzzles in Bitcoin and in peer-to-peer cash exchange that haven't been solved yet. I'm really here for the open source nature of the project. I like that we're putting code out there that other people can read. And so really we're contributing to the general commons rather than, just contributing to someone else's proprietary projects that they're hoping to sell to an audience for money. So again, I think open source is a big part of my shared values of why I like and appreciate Bitcoin. It is open source money. It's a project that anyone can come to and contribute. And hopefully that's what we'll get to do this week. Speaking about passion and money, I think that working in open source, I think this is often something that people maybe have a shared thing is that they're very passionate about it, and the amount of money that they personally get in return for contributing, that's not always necessarily the same as the amount of passion and excitement and volunteer work that you want to put into this project that matters. And at the end of the day, I think working in open source is a choice, right? You could be at the beach relaxing with your spare time. You could be out hanging out, getting the sun, but instead we're at our computers, getting better at learning how to ship code, improving ourselves, as well as the projects that we spend our time and effort contributing to. And so this makes us, I think, part of a group of people that care deeply about these projects. It's not just maybe a job that you do for money, but it's something that you do because you really do care about the output and the ability of what you're contributing will give to the rest of other people who interact with the tools that you build. I think one of the ways that people talk about this in the community is we're building cathedrals, right? These are projects that maybe you come in and you contribute to for a small amount of time, but at the end of the day, the small part that you have contributed and added is built as part of something that's much bigger than yourselves and that should continue to exist for much longer after you continue to work on the project or maybe even are around to appreciate and see others use it. So I think it's really more long-term thinking. We're building cathedrals here, not casinos. Great. And maybe one of the things that you're here to share is sovereignty, right? So it's the ability to stand up independently and say, I understand this technology, I've built it, I've worked on it, and now I have this technology that I've worked on and contributed to allows me to stand independently as a sovereign individual and really hold both my wealth and my knowledge as a sovereign person and interact with other sovereign individuals through these protocols that we've built into Bitcoin, which I think is a really cool and powerful thing that we're bringing into this new, this next century of a really digital universe. Great. So as, old money versions, non-digital money goes away, I think we're really here because we do think that fixing the money, fixing the protocols, fixing the ability for individuals to stay and remain sovereign through open source Bitcoin is one of the reasons that I like Bitcoin and I'm here. And maybe that's a value that all of you also share. Great. So I hope everyone sees this as a pretty motivational talk. It's not always easy to spend your time working on a project that you're so passionate about or that maybe is difficult and has hard problems. But I think with some perseverance, we can all contribute and figure out the best place to really help move Bitcoin forward. So thanks everyone for being here. I'm really excited to learn from you all and share some of what I know this week. And hopefully this can make this group and what we're building here more of the signal that we want to see in the world about Bitcoin and not contribute to the noise as much. Great. Okay, so that's all I had for the hacking for my keynote. Like I said, I'm very excited. Thanks.